You don't need to go to Niagara Falls when you can eat some Brian balls.
What's going on, NASCAR diecast collectors and diecast viewers on YouTube? This is Original Big Bri here, and welcome to a very interesting episode of the NASCAR Diecast News, hosted by me, Brian LaFleur Jr. As always, guys, I'm bringing you all your weekly NASCAR Diecast news each and every month to the very end of the 2017 NASCAR Diecast season. And boy, oh boy, guys, what a good way to start this episode. We're on our fourth episode of Season 7, guys, but this is going to be the episode before the Clash at the Daytona, or during the Clash by the time I upload this video, guys. So hope you guys are watching this episode as you guys are watching the Clash. As Speed Weeks is finally here at Daytona. Really looking forward to cover you guys all the NASCAR Diecast news that is coming out during Daytona weekend and for the next 2 weeks as well, guys. But we do got some newly released diecasts that came in this week from our good friends at Plan B Sales, KC Diecast, and Lester's Diecast. We also do got some really interesting pre-orders regarding not only some 2017 diecasts like usual, but also some truck diecasts as well from 2016. And I think there's two of them that I'm sure lots of you guys are really looking forward to see, and we'll be talking about that very shortly. And of course, we do got some more Xfinity cars canceled for this episode, guys. So not looking like a good year for Xfinity cars, but we'll get onto that very shortly. And what's a really interesting topic about this episode, we got an exclusive leak of Wave 2 for the 2017 NASCAR Authentics, but it's kind of not official, but we'll get on to this latest information and more as the NASCAR Diecast News starts right now. But before we do that, guys, we're going to take a look back at last week's episode of the NASCAR Diecast News, rounding off with NASCAR Diecast News 165. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, on the wonderful world of YouTube, welcome to NASCAR Diecast News. I'm your host, Original Big Bri, and we're going to get things started with, of course, your guys' favorite, your newly released diecast from our good friends at Plan B Sales, KC Diecast, and Lester's Diecast. Always, guys, highly encourage you guys to check out your local diecast dealers if you guys want to get all the local diecasts. But if you don't have any local diecast dealers, then Plan B Sales and KC Diecast are your next best option. Or you can always go on Lionel Racing as well. So always want to give those supporters a good shout out, because you know they do supply your diecast, so might as well give them a shout out, right? But we're going to go on to our 164s, guys, and we're going to start things off with, of course, the new 2017 164s. And the first thing up, it is Austin Dillon's number 3 AAA.com Chevrolet. And this is really cool because this car was canceled last year, so I'm really glad to see that they finally got a AAA car available. It's a unique paint scheme, don't get me wrong, but I'm glad it's a lot more different than what the traditional AAA scheme like Joey Logano's, which We'll be talking about that very shortly in the next 2 diecasts. So yeah, we do get 2 AAA cars in this wave for diecast. But yeah, I think it's a really cool looking car. It's kind of cool how AAA is sponsoring multiple teams. I mean, they're sponsoring Team Penske, and they're also sponsoring I almost said Roush, that would have been a fail. Richard Childress Racing. I know it starts with an R. But yeah, I think this is a really cool looking car. I mean, I can see why it got canceled last year, but glad to see that this car made it for this year. It's going to give a lot more variation for Austin Dillon fans out there, because I know last year's was horrible for Austin Dillon fans. But once again, glad to see this car, and we can move on from there. So really nice looking car. I think an Austin Dillon fan will like this car. It's unique as well. Next one up is a car I've been looking forward to, the American Ethanol Austin Dillon E15 car, and it's been a while since we had an American Ethanol car produced. I think this car was also canceled last year as well. Like I said, it was a horrible year for Austin Dillon cars, but glad to see this car made on pre-order. And it's funny, I actually just got done watching a review from Racing 2011 channel. By the way, subscribe to him. If you guys don't know who he is, then you're clearly living under a rock. But this is a really cool looking car. You know, it's a green car, which I'm sure a lot of people like green, except if you're at Indianapolis, which is a very unlucky color, if you guys know about that. But I don't know, I'm kind of getting some Dale Earnhardt vibes seeing this car. Every time that when there's ever black with a white number, I always get some sort of Dale Earnhardt vibe. So I think that's why this car looks really cool. It might be a little plain to some people, but you know, the simplicity of this car really works for me. And I'm glad they're actually promoting, it's not just American Ethanol, they're promoting their E15. So that's pretty cool right there. I'm hoping NASCAR can implement that pretty soon in their cars, because yeah, I think that's going to be really cool. You know, might as well go green as the painting is. But overall, really nice looking car. I like this the simple design, and you know, I think it's a nice little change that we've had from the past couple of years with the stripes from 2014. Well, that car was on the PTC mold or WLS mold, but anyways, nice looking car. Glad it's on this diecast list. And now we're gonna get onto some Joey Logano cars. I know more, but the first one up is the other AAA car that I told about, Joey Logano's standard AAA insurance car. Now this paint scheme, similar to the shell car, needs a change. I'm gonna let it slide for this year, but I think next year they really need to change it already. But it's just me, or just the red just looks a lot more darker on this car. I don't know, especially the rims. So I don't know, guys. I don't know if they decided to change the red on this car this year, or if it's just buying else more for detailing. I don't know. I think the red's supposed to be a little brighter. I might be kind of losing it as well, because I'm filming this at 2 o'clock in the morning. So hopefully you get some entertainment out of this, and you can critique me if I'm, you know, making silly mistakes. I don't know. It looks a little dark, but I must be seeing something. But anyways, back on track. The Joey Logano AAA car. Of course, if you're a Joey Logano fan, I would probably recommend getting this car, but this could be a car I would pass, because like I said, the Austin Dillon AAA car is a little more better and it's a little unique. So that's all I gotta say right there. We also got another Joey Logano AutoTrader car. As you guys know, Brad Keselowski's AutoTrader 2017 car is released for Wave 1 in the NASCAR Authentics line. So you know, this paint scheme is basically the same as, like I said, the Brad Keselowski AutoTrader car, just with the 20, with just, you know, with an extra 22. That's all it is. Still a nice looking car. I do like the orange and blue paint scheme. I mean, I know my friend Ganassi fan 142, he's a big Broncos fan, so I'm sure he's gonna get this car because he loves anything that's orange blue. So shout out to my good friend Derek Lewis if you're watching this video. Very cool guy. He deserves a follow on Instagram. But yeah, really cool looking car, especially since I'm also live in the Syracuse area, so orange blue is very big up there. So unless you're a big fan of orange and blue, or if you're a Logano fan, then this would be a car to get. But other than that, I don't know. It's similar, way too similar to last year's paint scheme. But you know, like I said, if you're a Logano fan, this would be a totally recommend. And now we got some variation in these next couple cars. We got Paul Menard's Richmond Menard's car. And if you guys are familiar with, for any Paul Menard fans out there who've had his diecast in the past couple years, Richmond. The Richmond Water Heaters has returned as his main sponsor for this diecast. Remember in 2014 he had that same sponsor, but however the car was on a not so good mold, and also had white numbers. But I'm glad they went back with the black numbers. You know, that's just very traditional for Paul Menard, having the black and the neon yellow. It was kind of odd of him having white numbers back in 2014, if you guys remember that. So I think this is a really cool looking car. I'm always a big fan of bright cars, so of course this would be a nice, good eye popper. And this is the only Paul Menard car that is released for this year, unless he has an upcoming Dawn's Throwback car, which he did last year. But you know, I would recommend getting this car because, like I said, we don't see that many Paul Menard diecast out there. And yeah, it's a nice looking car. I mean, it's another simple design car, but I think it's really working out for the Richard Childress Racing cars. Next one up, speaking of more Richard Childress Racing, we got the other guy in town, Ryan Newman, in the Granger 31 car Chevrolet. So of course this car has a different paint scheme. They decided to ditch the gray and went to red this year, and I think that was a smart move. This car is kind of reminding me of the Quickie Set car that Jeff Burton used to draw back in 2013, 2014. I don't know, it kind of reminds me a little bit, just a little bit, because I know that the red was a little darker on that. But I don't know, I think it's kind of cool. But anyways, I do like this car a lot. I mean, it's another simple design. But what's really interesting about this car is that this car took forever for the render to come up, guys. I mean, I think this car just it had a little preview pic. It only showed like the front end of the car, and they didn't release the full freaking picture render until like 1 or 2 weeks by the time I upload this episode, or maybe like last month or the month before that. So yeah, they definitely took their time releasing that render, because it's kind of funny because the 124 version was canceled and we didn't see what the full render of this car was. So I think that's kind of funny. So this is going to be a 164 exclusive for all you guys out there, because like I said, the 124 version is canceled. So if you're a Ryan Newman fan, I would recommend getting this car. Even if you're not a big collector of the 164s, this would be a car to get, because like I said, it's an exclusive to the 164s because the 124s were canceled. But really nice looking car, and I do like I said, the simplicity of this car. The red and black really go very nice, and yeah, it's a pretty nice looking car. Next one up is Eric Almirola's U.S. Air Force car. You know, very similar to last year's, but you know, there's something interesting about this car, and I'm kind of glad that Richard Petty Motorsports is still sponsoring a military company, because hey, if you guys remember back in the day, guys, it's kind of interesting. You know how Dale Jr. used to sponsor National Guard, and Joe Nemechek sponsoring U.S. Army, and Mark Martin and all those guys, Casey Mears. This is the only branch of military that is sponsoring NASCAR, and I'm surprised they haven't dropped out yet. So I really do appreciate that they're still sponsoring the Air Force. Shout out to anybody who in the comment section, who, if you know anybody who is in the Air Force, this would be a nice card to pay tribute to them. I'm always a big supporter of the military, so I definitely would recommend getting this car, especially anybody out there who knows a family member or a relative or whatever that's stationed in the U.S. Air Force. So, but if you are an Almirola fan, I would get this car, but it is similar to last year's. But if you didn't pick up last year's cars, then this would be a good time to get this car for sure. And to wrap, let's see right here, and to wrap up on the 164s, guys, we got the Jimmie Johnson Cobalt Tools car. So the paint scheme is very similar to the Lowe's car, but like I said, I'm a really big fan of this paint scheme, and with the black on this car, makes it even look just as nicer. I mean, I do recommend the Lowe's car a little bit more, but this car looks really cool. I mean, I can't tell if it's a matte black or not, but I don't know. That'd be cool if this car is actually matte black, but we'll have to see what the diecast reviews have to say about this car. But even if it's not matte black or not, I still think this is a really cool looking car regardless. Like I said, I do like the paint scheme change, and I'm glad they changed it this year, and glad to see a Cobalt Tools car has yellow on it. So, and it looks really nice in my opinion. So yeah, Jimmie Johnson fans out there, you really got yourself a good treat for this year for the Lowe's and the Cobalt Tools schemes. But that wraps up on the 164s, guys, and now we're gonna get on to the newest pre-orders. And what's really cool about these pre-orders, guys, of course we do got some 2017 diecasts as well, and I hope you guys like the new pictures I put out, courtesy of Flame Me Sales. They're the ones that send me these pictures, and Lionel Racing, of course. But yeah, guys, we do got some truck diecasts that are now up for pre-order, guys. If you guys remember last year that Lionel was working on a new truck mold because all the truck diecasts that they made for the past couple of years was outdated. So they decided to update the truck molds for this year and next year for the Chevrolet Silverados, and I think for the rest as well. But this is going to be the first batch that's going to have those cars. I think the Johnny Sauter Championship car will have that as well, but from what I know, these two cars will have it right here. And the first one up is Kyle Larson's DC Solar Eldora Raceway. Now, I know lots of Kyle Larson fans are so happy to see this car on pre-order, and I bet your rear it is going to be make MOQ, because there were so many Larson fans out there who were just, as soon as he won this race, many requests from Lionel Racing came out and say, oh my god, are you gonna make this car? And Lionel says, we don't know yet, but they don't have the trademark or license, but they finally did, guys, and it was worth the wait, and I think this is gonna be a really cool car to get. However, for the molds, guys, they're only gonna be on the gold version, so the hood is only gonna open, which that is kind of disappointing in my opinion. But regardless of not, I think this car is gonna look really cool regardless. Because like I said, we never had a Kyle Larson Eldora Raceway truck before. So any Kyle Larson fans out there are really going to look forward to have this car. But it is going to be a little cheaper since it's going to be on the Gold Series for sure. And the other truck diecast that's out for pre-order, not out yet, but it's the Ben Kennedy's first official NASCAR win at the Battle at Bristol, guys. So yeah, if you guys remember Ben Kennedy, that was a big win for him. Of course, that was his first win in the NASCAR King Crew World Truck Series, in his Jacob Industries race win car. So of course, this is a Chevrolet as well for GMS Racing. So both these cars are GMS Racing cars, so that's why they got released for the pre-orders together. And you know, I kind of feel like this car will make it on the pre-order list. Like, I think it might make MOQ. We just gotta, I think all these diecast companies are going to have to really push these cars to get them on MOQ. I don't think the Larson cars got a problem, but I'm a little worried about Ben Kennedy because he's not really a popular driver. But since this is his first win, I would give him some credit that maybe this car will make MOQ. But yeah, for any of these pre-orders, guys, you got to make sure you pre-order. That's the only way to guarantee that your diecast will be in, because Lionel is really making a lot of limited quantities for this year for the 164s and the 124s. So pre-ordering is your best bet. Alright, and I'm not just saying that just for the heck of it. It is going to guarantee you a diecast, guys. Alrighty, I mean, you can gamble all you want, but if you don't pre-order, then these cars will make the MOQ list. That's all I gotta say right there. But that's enough with the diecast pre-orders. Alright, everybody, now we're going to get on to the latest cancellations here for the NASCAR Diecast News. I know, guys, this is the second episode in a row we're getting some cancellations, and all these diecasts about to show you are yet more Xfinity cars. So it's looking like a really bummer year for the NASCAR Xfinity Series, especially when it comes to diecast. You know, I really don't think the Xfinity Series is get that popular anymore, and with these cancellations, guys, we're going to go with things and get things started, and we'll talk about more about the situation later. But first one up, guys, is sadly another Cole Custer car, guys. If you guys remember on the last episode of NASCAR Diecast News, I told you about how the Haas car was canceled and there was still hope for the Code 3 Associates. Well, the day I uploaded that video and then the day after, it was canceled. So that's some very irony right there. I think I kind of jinxed it for you guys right there. But yep, the Cole Custer Code 3 Associates car has been canceled in both scales, and that is downright disappointing, guys. You know, I don't know. I don't even know if we're ever gonna have a Cole Custer car produced, because last year his truck diecast was canceled, and his I almost said nationwide car. Wow, I'm getting really old. His Xfinity car from last year, his rookie car, that was canceled as well. So, like I said, I don't think Cole Custer has as much of a fan base to get him going, especially now since Stewart-Haas Racing now has an Xfinity team. They got to start building some momentum and a fan base, and including Junior Motorsports and JGR kind of has that fan base right now in the Xfinity Series. Then again, who really watches the Xfinity Series, in my opinion? I'm just joking out there, but yeah, guys, this is really disappointing for Cole Custer, especially, you know, like I said, I think he's just having a hard time trying to get fans. I mean, let's face it, it is pretty bad. But I'm hoping one day maybe we'll get a Cole Custer car produced, and maybe he'll not fall into the lines like Chris Buescher and all those guys who struggled to get diecast produced. But yeah, really disappointing for that being canceled. Next one up is yet another Elliott Sadler car, and this is canceled on 164 scale only. It's Elliott Sadler's Dale's Pale Ale. Now, I wasn't really surprised seeing this car being canceled, because it's basically the Dale's Pale Ale car from last year that Regan Smith ran, and they slapped a number 1 on it. You know, could have done a little more with the, excuse me, that was a little burp right there. I bet Race Day 2011 is going to really criticize me for that burp right there. But, yeah, guys, Like I said, for 164 collectors out there, you're going to be a little disappointed seeing this car being canceled. But then again, this car was going to be on a base, alright, because DLSPL is an alcohol. So I do see why this car did got canceled, because it is one of those based modeled cars. Even though the render I show you right here is just a 2D render, so it's not going to show the base on it. But if I remember from last year's car did have a base of the Regan Smith 88 DLSPL. So I can see why this car being canceled, but I know a lot of local North Carolina fans are going to be pretty disappointed, because that's a local beer company there. So yeah, that's pretty disappointing. And last one up that I'm not really surprised seeing getting canceled, since it's the same car from last year, it is Austin Dillon's number 2 Ream Chevrolet. Now of course this is another Cup driver being produced. And that's right there is already a big hit on the head right there. But you know guys, the Ream car was canceled in the 164 last year. Now what you thinking? What? That car was already made. Well, hear me on this, guys. It was canceled, but then they uncanceled it, if that even is a word. But so maybe that will happen again, but I don't think it's worth the effort to do what it did last year, what Lionel did. Because this car is basically the same as last year. So if you're disappointed that the 2017 car got canceled, go and buy the 2016. I mean, it's literally the same. I mean, for any Austin Dillon fans out there, I know 2016 was a bad year for Diecast, but his Ream car is still there, guys, and there's not really much of a difference. Maybe some little sponsors and the contingencies, but who really cares about that? I mean, and usually I'm a Diecast critic, alright, so yeah, this is not really kind of a disappointment, but for the 124 collectors out there, you're still in luck, even though it's going to be on the Gold Series car. So yeah, otherwise all these cancellations, like I said, are all Xfinity Diecast, and that is pretty disappointing. And who knows how many Xfinity cars we're going to have left for this year. I think we're really going to have a low amount for this year, but we'll see how it goes on as those news go on from there. So yeah. Alright guys, and we're going to our last topic of the show, and it is going to be some NASCAR Authentics news. But however guys, what I'm about to say right now is not actually going to be an official reveal, guys. I'll probably be saying this as I talk about this topic, but we do got some official, not really official info. I don't know why I said official, because I always am used to saying that. But this is basically like a leak for NASCAR Authentics 2017 Wave 2, and this literally was like the big thing to talk about by the time I upload this video. So Friday, you know, there was a leaked photo that went around Instagram and Facebook and Diecast Crazy of someone capturing what looks like possibly Wave 2 for the 2017 NASCAR Authentics lineup. As I show you guys this picture right here, this is the back cover. As you guys know, the back, they show you all the things the diecast for this wave. Oh, collect them all. You know, there's usually like 7 or 8 cars. But what's really interesting about this, if you can clearly see it, I'll be listing all these cars from top to bottom. Let's see, it looks like we got 2 Chase Elliott cars, 2 Casey Kane cars, an Austin Dillon car, a Kurt Busch car, a Darrell Wallace Jr. car, and a Joey Logano car. Now, most of these cars are 2017, and I can prove you to that by showing you guys this next picture. And you clearly see the Joey Logano Pennzoil, the Austin Dillon Dow, the Kurt Busch Haas, and what else right here? We got some other cars as well. But most of those cars right there that I showed you from the previous picture are 2017s, because you can tell by the packaging. Now, I'm not really going to, like, you know how I do on the NASCAR Authentics, I always review about this, but I can't really review these just yet because I don't think they're official. Well, while I do think that those 4 diecasts that I said are official, I don't think the rest of the cars might be official. What I mean by that is that I think we actually have 3 cars from 2016 in this wave. We got the Chase Elliott Napa Chase car, that's what you see right there from the previous picture. And we also got Bubba Wallace's Ford Darlington Throwback and Case King's Liftmaster. However, these next photos I show you, they only show 2017 cars. And this next photo right here, it's all 2017s. So I don't know if they just didn't have enough on there. And by the way, where I found these photos, where I found them from one of our fans on Facebook. I can't remember the name of you, but if you're watching this video, then you know who you are. But yeah, they gave us some more information about these pictures, and they said that there was some sort of promotion going on at Daytona at a Walmart. That's why I'm saying this is a leak, because this is kind of weird, because NASCAR Authentics or Lionel Racing has not said anything about this yet. They said that they will be releasing Wave 2 around Daytona or after Daytona, which doesn't really make any sense. So I'm hoping it's before Daytona, like Daytona 500 time maybe. So maybe in the next week or two we'll be learning more about this, guys. But I don't know, guys. This is really interesting to me, guys. I mean, of course, on the top of this tile, I'm putting this as a leak. So if you guys are wondering why I'm not reviewing this full weight, because I don't think it's official yet. I mean, I might be crazy and maybe these cars are official, but I like to know my sources first, guys. So this is just a good speculation, but yeah, but I hope you guys kind of enjoyed this, guys. This is kind of interesting to talk about. Tell me what you guys' opinion about this. We'll love to hear, guys, about this as well. Like, yeah, you know, if these 2017s, I know the 2017s are true from those pictures I showed you. So looks like they are making the 41 Haas Kurt Busch car, the 24 Napa, the Napa car, not the Chase car, but the Napa car from this year. And let's see, the Joey Logano 22 Shell and the number 3 Dow car. I can't really see the 5 Farmers car, but I'm sure they'll make that. But even though they just released that a couple waves ago. But yeah, like I said, not going to really say too much about these cars until the full reveal comes out from Lionel Racing to Fix. So if you guys do want to turn in for that, then I highly encourage you guys to subscribe to this channel, and in the next 1 or 2 episodes from now, we'll be covering all this and more. But like I said, tell me what you guys think about this in the comments, and we'll see if some of these diecasts are true or not. But other than that, guys, this has been the NASCAR Diecast News. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, guys, please give this good video a good comment, like it. If you guys have not already, I highly encourage you guys to subscribe to my channel, Original Rig Ride, as entitled in this video, where you'll be finding all the weekly videos for NASCAR Diecast News, NASCAR Diecast reviews, and even top 10 NASCAR Diecasts. And until then, guys, this is Original Rig Ride signing off. Thank you guys so much for watching. Always love your support, and we'll see you guys next time on the next new episode of the NASCAR Diecast News. But until then, guys, this is Original Rig Ride signing off, and so long for now, everybody.